For XMDV Radio, Raymond D. Ozone. Welcome to XMDV Radio. I'm Raymond D. Ozone. The time is about to turn 9:14, and I can tell you we're just as excited as you are. Very light traffic this morning, so I had a bit of time for a snack on the walk in. Good value from Jim's Meats by the train station. Other butchers are available. Music there, live from studio, courtesy of the band. Thank you, band. We'll start, as we usually do, with a little something to get us thinking. This week's thoughts comes from preacher Howard Crane of the Mathematic Temple of Ambassadors.
One of these days, everything will change. This world will fade. There will be none of us. But knowledge and feeling, they will never change.
Well said, Preacher Crane. We'll be back with a whole load of knowledge and feeling after the weather.
The weather today is... Oh, Lord. You are not going to like this. You're not going to like this one bit. Oh. What? What have you done? I know this was you. There's no one else it could have been. There's nothing you can do now. There's nothing any of us can do now. Oh, my bad. That's tomorrow's weather. Let's see. Looks like it'll be raining later. Probably not raining, more like spitting. So, yeah, I don't know. Bring a coat or a hat or something. Over to the shipping forecast with Irving Buckley.
There are warnings of thunder between zones 251 and X90. In the next 24 hours, gusts of wind will move southeast, creating a sort of whistling sound. If you're in the Gillian Outlands, it's recommended that you offer up something to the infinite carnivorous spirit above us and... Oh no, I'm hearing us distracted at the moment. That's all from today's shipping forecast. Irving Buckley, over and out.
Thanks, Irving. We've got plenty coming to get you, listeners. Stay tuned. And now for all you bookworms out there, the XMDV Radio Book Club. For those who didn't tune in last month, the book we're going to be talking about today is The Lesser Key of Solomon, full of vivid imagery and a load of fun drawings. This truly was one for the whole family. And I've got to say, I had my doubts. This isn't the kind of book I'd normally read, but I guess Solomon wrote a gripping tale. By the time I started the goatee, I really couldn't put it down. We had a listener text in their favourite principal spirit, the Panian, and it says here, this spirit is a great king and very obedient to Lucifer. He appeareth in the form of a man sitting on a dromedy with a crown most glorious upon his head. There goeth before him also a host of spirits and men with trumpets and well-sounding cymbals and all other sorts of musical instruments. He hath a great voice and roareth at his first coming, and his speech is such that the magician cannot well understand unless he can compel him. Sounds a lot like you before your peanut coffee, Ray. We also had another listener text in, but it was very clearly a spell designed to put anyone that might hear my voice under their control. Nice try, Jim. But I'm glad you're reading along at home. Over to you, Ray.
It's been a big week for food. On the Ring Road, Bifton Martinez held the grand opening of their new restaurant, Fumemos. Early reviews are looking pretty special. Food and drink pair delightfully was the heavily anticipated verdict from Cedric Sugarcoat. But that's not all. What really sets it apart, Cedric says, is the Smoky Sunday offer/challenge, which seems to promise, on Sundays, free food to anyone who can smoke perpetually from starters to desserts. We also managed to get this statement from Chef Martinez.
Remove your sound stick. It will be best.
Sounds good to me. And from what I've heard, that topic matches up with today's fascinating fact courtesy of Anthony Tanner. What have you got for us, Ant?
Well, Ray, did you know that the average hardback cookbook contains just over one poisonous ingredient? Crazy, huh?
Well, I never. That was Anthony Tanner for XMDV Radio, where we learn something new every day. Stay tuned for the ozone layer, folks, after these messages.
Hi, we're Jim's Meats, a small family-owned butchers who only sell animal meats. Just a small homegrown operation we run here, just mom and pa stuff. So pop down and come see what we have in. I just know you'll find a good deal. Jim's Meats. We're gonna chain up a god in a dark reality. Are you someone with a lot on your plate? I know I am, and that's why I use Richard. Whether it's carrying your shopping, helping around the house, or apologising to colleagues when you can't bear to show your face, Richard has your back. Richard is okay with nudity. Almost too okay with it, but don't let his hobbies put you off. You don't want to miss this. Richard is subject to availability for obvious but also reasons.
Want some news? I know you want some news. Say please first. Say please and I'll give you some news. Oh, looks like you want some news. Just as what? What's that? You want news daily? This message was brought to you by the news. Huh?
Are you someone?
Don't you feel tired? Don't you just feel completely exhausted? I know you do. Well, we have a suggestion for you. You could lie down on your bed or maybe in a forest. Let yourself sink into the grass as you close your eyes. How about some deep breaths, huh? In and out. And in and out. Don't breathe in just yet. How about you hold your breath a little longer? How about you hold your breath in the forest? Don't breathe in. How about you close your eyes? You've been feeling so tired recently. How about you just close your eyes and stop breathing in a forest? This message was brought to you by the Fungal Collective.
Come outside. Bring peanuts. Other nuts are good too. And worms or small insects. And if you don't bring anything... This message was brought to you by the flock of birds on your roof.
Welcome back to XMDV Radio with Raymond Ozone. It's time for the ozone layer. In economy, Samuel Vista predicts that the coin will supplant most forms of electronic currency by February. A report from the Enduring Forest Fire Department claims that the smoke visible from the train station smells of meat and is therefore fine. In health, Donna Darcy drank just the right amount of milk today as she surpassed Vicky Size 1 Gomez to become the healthiest. And that's today's ozone layer. Not my best, forgive me. I've not had my peanut coffee yet. Remember, other nut coffees are available.
You're listening to XMDV Radio. This is Anthony Tanner with the Classifieds. Metal garden bin, barely used but missing lid and lightly haunted. Reasonable price, contact John Torsion on the corner of Mental Drive. Large old paintings of the sea, difficult to look at. One large gold bullion, stare at the sun for more information. Virgin beeswax wanted for voodoo magic. Contact Jim. Obviously no one do that. Paint of an indescribable colour, £5 or a terrible secret. Contact James Yakety in the mountains. 8. Tiny boxing gloves for a spider wanted. Contact Melton Caramel, manager of the pet shop on Mudpuddle Lane. A 5-year-old Sengal parrot for sale, hand-reared and polite. 3 pieces of 8 or 1 piece of 5 and a kiss. Contact the station for seller's info. Dining table wanted, long enough for a banquet. Holler on the beach for more information. Rocking chair, well used but sturdy. Lightly clawed, £12. Contact with a message in a bottle. A great night's sleep, free. Walk into the woods alone, you'll find us. And finally, the mechanics on NA Crescent is hiring. Must be someone reliable with experience in grasping, hissing, hunting, running, sprinting optional. Pay starting at £11 an hour. Bring a CV and some good shoes to the mechanics to apply. This has been the Classifieds. You're listening to XMDV Radio. And now, welcome to Question of the Day. In case you've never played before, here's how we do it. I'll ask a question, and if you think you know the answer, text in to win. What do you win? You'll see. You'll see. Question 1. Phones at the ready, listeners. What colour is the sky? A, red, or B, red? Oh, it looks like we got a text straight away here from local pianist Yancy Judd. She put A. Let's see if it's right. Woo! Yeah! Correct, Yancy. Looks like you've won tonight's grand prize, and oh boy, is it a good one. Enjoy your prize, Yancy. And now obituaries. Local pianist Yancy Judd died just moments ago of total internal inversion at the age of 76. She was a kind and thoughtful woman, and her contributions to the community are greatly appreciated by everyone here at the station, and we're glad she could pass peacefully. She's survived by her granddaughter Shatilia Judd, who's thankful for the flowers and invites anyone that might have known her to the vigil held at her home on Wednesday. We also pay respects to another respected member of the community, you. You passed peacefully at the ripe old age of tomorrow. You were loved by all, but let's be honest here, quickly forgotten. Wow, only 2. Slow news week. Don't switch over, listeners. We've got plenty more coming up.
Did you hear that? No, seriously. Did you hear that? Like something tearing. Like the sound of someone chewing gravel. The sound of an explosion deep within the earth. Do you know what that sound is? I know what that sound is. It's the sound of peanut coffee. Peanut coffee. Let's see how deep we can dig.
Want to express maniacal contentment in an evil way but don't know how? Try this. This message was brought to you by the sound
Coming to you live from behind the star-filled night sky. Please give a warm hand, a white lie. The sunspot is hot, static strong. Mountain peaks and wavelengths long. Now you're staring at me and I stare back. A blank balance of white and black. The space is set and the tape's running slow. This is your captain speaking. AB Positive Airlines, flying's in our blood.
Raymond D here for XMDV Radio. Welcome back to the O-Zone. A lot of you wrote in this week, more than usual, but we had to choose these 2 that stood out. The first is from Imelda Demir, who asks, what do I do if I don't want to go to a temple every week? It's not that I've stopped believing, no, I just find it draining to spend 4 hours a week watching Patriarch Crane repeat numbers, and don't get me started on the climb, it takes up so much of my Saturday. What should I do, RD? Well, Imelda, the temple teaches us all important lessons about inner peace and disobedience, so you never know what you might miss out on if you don't attend. Besides, what else would you do on Saturdays? There'd be nobody to talk to. And we have one, which is just signed FC. FC asks, what should I do, Ray? I like to think I'm a fun and relaxing person to be around, but despite that, no one seems to visit me. Aww. I live in a remote, heavily wooded area, so I guess that's part of it, but even when I invite people to spend time with me, they don't want to. How do I persuade more people to come to the forest? FC. Well, FC, I'm happy to be answering your query here because your address appears to span hundreds of miles. I would say, have patience. People are busy, and the woods are so far away. I'm sure people would love your company if you lived a little closer to town. That's all the problems we can fit in this week, but please keep writing in because we love hearing them. And now, what you've all been waiting for, it's that time again. News.
Sports now! In Blackjack 2 news today, we saw a record low amount of information pass into the collective game space as the chains started to break. The weird umpires have proclaimed to be working on it, but have warned people not to play within, interact with, or think about the game space while maintenance takes place. I was given a statement from the slumbering god and commissioner of the sport, all hail, by an umpire a few moments ago. Let's see here. Okay, listeners, I'm not reading this out. If the commissioner, all hail, wants a statement read, he should format it properly and not just as a large stack of cards, each with a letter on. And in bowling, the Eternal League start back up today after last month's rule hiccup where everyone was forced to use ramps. But have there been any more hiccups? How have the players been faring? Clark Rumble reports.
Thanks, Anthony. All here at the lanes today, it seems the ramp problem has been sorted. Play was stopped completely yesterday as ramps became both illegal and mandatory. All players were suspended from the league. New management took over yesterday after the entirety of EOB staff died for seemingly no reason. The rule was quickly supplemented by a second, bigger rule which just said don't use ramps in all caps. We've been told the delay was due to the time it took to navigate the subterranean vault sitting under the city that contains the entire official rule book. We tried to talk with one of the many players here, but were quickly told with a sequence of rapid hand signals that speaking was accidentally made an illegal act last month, and no one could find that rule in the vault. That has been going on for the last couple of hours here, but after asking an official who the favourite to win was, I was laughed at, and looking at the scoreboard it seems no one's actually hit any pins yet. And after looking through the archives here, it seems no one has in the last 6 years. I'm not entirely sure why this is. Although it did strike me that it could be because the lanes seem to be 40 kilometres long now. Done. Studio. You, Anthony Tanner.
Thank you, Clark. Definitely sounds like an interesting day of play. I'll be back with more soon, but in the meantime, crime.
Crime rate is at an all-time low right now, said the city's unpoliced department in a statement earlier today. We're seeing a huge rise in arrests, sentences and raids, while robberies, speeding and tying people to train tracks are at an all-time low. This comes after the department's proposed budget increase to the council to allow for the purchase of bandit masks, striped t-shirts and Hessian Sachs labelled swag. It's these youths not causing enough trouble, they continued. Parents and teachers need to be teaching kids at a young age to reject authority. In fact, a few moments ago we got news of a shocking discovery as undercover criminals embedded in small police groups uncovered an entire clandestine police department. More information as the story develops. From me, Raymond Diozone, back to you, Ant.
And it's the second day of proceedings for the landmark case Jerry Wobbles versus the entity over who owns the small footpath that runs in between their residences after it was found to not belong to the city as previously thought. The entity said in a statement today, "I'm not sure what he's going to use it for, but I'll tell you what, it definitely will be neat and tidy. Have you seen his lawn? It's like he only mows it once a year and his fences are 3 inches above regulation." When asked for a comment, Jerry merely opened his mouth and produced a large swarm of locusts. And I've got to say, folks, I'm with the entity here. Regulations are there for a reason, and if you can't follow these simple rules, how will that affect our community? 3 inches, folks. That's all I'm saying. Back to you, Ray.
Thank you, Anthony. In traffic today, the roads are looking clear, mostly because of a giant sinkhole that's just swallowed a large amount of neighbourhoods to the south of the city. Seemingly centered around the big peanut shell that, until now, has been there longer than anyone can remember. The hole is currently estimated to be 1 kilometre wide and no longer growing. Clark Rumble is on the scene.
Thank you, Raymond. We're unsure what exactly caused this right now, but as many of the listeners will be aware, seismic activity in and around the city has become far more common in the last couple of days.
So you think that it'll keep increasing from here?
It's hard to tell. People at the moment are hoping that whatever has been causing this has been swallowed by the sinkhole. I believe we'll have a far better idea of the situation in the coming days.
And are there any recorded casualties?
Heads or tails?
Heads.
No, there have been no recorded casualties. It appears everyone made it out in time.
Thank you, Clark. This is XMDV Radio. Stay tuned for further updates. Back to you, Anthony.
Back with sport now, as total connection from our reality to the collective game space seems to have been broken, or rather, been severed. Play was suspended as just moments ago, the chains broke. This appears to have been a deliberate ruling by the commissioner of the sport, and the winged umpires seem to have been taken with it. Oh, and we go now to some breaking news. We're getting reports of blood rain centered around the Jim's Meat secret warehouse. We've also received a very poorly spelled text from Jim that says, everything is fine, then just sold some jerky and what appears to be a huge meat portal. We're also getting reports of the sinkhole expanding. This is concerning, listeners. There appears to be some kind of big meat creature emerging from the portal. What has he done? Okay, this is an emergency bulletin from officials. All residents must stay at home. Get as low down as possible. Do not, under any circumstances, go outside. Do not look out the window and stay as quiet as possible. Casualties are expected to be high. Hold your loved ones tight, listeners. This is an emergency situation. Again, do not, under any circumstances, go outside. Do not look out the window and stay as quiet as possible. The lights here in the studio have gone red. Management appears to have taken the decision to dive. In a few seconds, I'll lose contact with you as the station submarine goes below the waterline. Listeners, from me, Anthony Tanner.
And me, Raymond T. Ozone.
Stay calm, stay together, and stay safe. This is XMDB Radio, signing off.
Hey, it's me, Jim, from Jim's Meats. We're hiring. It wasn't enough. We need more sacrifices. We need you to sacrifice your time in exchange for money. It's like $100 an hour, so make sure you come quick. Don't bother bringing a CV or anything. Just come to the warehouse behind the train station and you've got the job. Scratch that. The chains are broken. I'm gonna have to do this myself.